Okay, Metro Detroit golfers, we are back here. Mike Sullivan alongside golf legend, Hall of Famer. She has 51 professional wins and just a fantastic player. Really excited to chat with the legendary Nancy Lopez. Nancy, how are you?
Doing great, Mike. How are you doing?
Good, doing well, Nancy. And obviously I've been looking forward to chatting with you. Recently joining the board of Folds of Honor. We're going to get to that in a moment, and certainly a few things to go over. But before we do that, I just wanted to ask you. You and I had the chance to meet very, very briefly, kind of in passing, a couple years ago at the grand opening of American Dunes out in the west side of Michigan, and just an awesome grand opening that was. Figured I'd start there and get your overall thoughts on American Dunes and being at the grand opening.
Yeah, American Dunes, what a great place. When I was invited to do that, I certainly wanted to be a part of that. I've been going to a few events with Folds of Honor and, excited to see Jack's new project there. And, of course, Colonel Dan is just awesome. And, it was unbelievable to go there, play a golf course that was so much fun, to have everybody there. I felt like honoring our country just going there to play this golf course. When you walk in, you don't walk into the pro shop. You go to this area where there are pictures of fallen soldiers. There's a logo there that says "Freedom isn't free," and there's music playing, and right away you get the sense of why American Dunes exists and how we can help other people, the families of fallen soldiers and now first responders. But when you go and you walk through this little area, it takes your heart and it makes you feel proud to be an American. And as you walk out of that area, there's a golf course, and there's a big, huge U.S. flag sitting there waving in the wind. And, I love that. It was breathtaking for me. And then now they have the Wall of Honor, which is where my father and my husband's father, we have these little plaques that we purchased to put on that wall. And it's neat to remind, because both of our fathers were in the military, it's neat to have that as a reminder for all the people that have given their life to us to keep us free and protect us. But American Dunes, what a great place. I love going back there. Plan on going back later on this year a couple times. I have a company called Nancy Lopez Golf Adventures. I'm going to take a group there. I just want to experience it with them. You can talk about it, but you got to feel it.
Right. No, absolutely. It's very special. I've been privileged to play there a few times as well. And what you just said is so true. The golf is fantastic. The course is great, and that's awesome. But the non-golf side of things, the memorial, the squadron bar, just having it be such an incredible experience with taps, the national anthem, all of it. So appreciate you painting the picture there, and obviously encourage everyone to check out AmericanDunesGolfClub.com for future tee times and bookings. And on that note, Nancy, I'd be curious too. I know you recently joined the board of Folds of Honor. Could you talk about that? You just referenced some incredible items about your family and military history and whatnot, but talk about joining the board of Folds of Honor.
Well, I met Major Dan when I met him many, many years ago at Vince Gill's Pro-Am in Nashville. And I was paired with Colonel Dan. And he's a great player. When you meet him, he's an outstanding person. He talked about Folds at that time and what he was doing. And it just kind of fell right on my plate. It was a perfect thing for me to think about or get involved with. And that whenever he had events, they invited my husband and I, who, like I said, my husband was in the military also, invited us to come to some of the Folds events, the Folds fundraisers. And so we started going to those and loved them. You meet so many great people. And like I said, I always tell Colonel Dan, it's like going to church. Everybody comes there and they're there for the same reason. Our country, church is all about God. But when you go to Folds of Honor events, it's about your country. So we started going to all the events, have met wonderful people. And then when Colonel Dan asked me if I would be on the board, of course, I didn't say yes right away because I'm always so busy. And I know when I say I'm going to do something, I want to be totally involved and not just say I'm going to be involved. And so I asked Colonel Dan, I said, well, what do I need to do, Colonel Dan? Because I'm always so busy. He goes, oh, you just have to go to a few board meetings. And I went to my first board meeting at the PGA show and I looked at Colonel Dan and I said, you lied. because it's, I knew it wouldn't be just 4 board meetings, of
Right.
course, because you're always, trying to fundraise and, if I can give of myself and, God bless me with the talent to play golf and I love people. And if I can, go to events and bring people to events and just be a part of all of that, that's my way of giving to the Folds of Honor to help raise money.
No, that's fantastic, and obviously encourage everyone to check out more about Folds of Honor, and totally agree with what you're saying. Nancy, I do have to ask you as well. Our golf audience, we have just over 55,000 golfers now in the state of Michigan, and obviously, as we just talked about, American Dunes is such a great course in Michigan. I like to ask every guest that we have on here, just for the purpose of, again, our audience. I'm curious your overall opinion on Michigan golf just over the years in your career. I'm obviously biased, but Michigan really is such a great golf state. I think an underrated golf state. I know it's a cold weather state, but we have so many great courses. There's such a passion for golf in Michigan. And so I guess just kind of an open canvas type question for you, whether it's been American Dunes or just being in Michigan, maybe other parts of your career, any overall thoughts just on Michigan golf as a whole?
Well, I have quite a few friends that live in Michigan that go up there during the summer. They love it. They're golfers. Michigan's a beautiful state. I've been there a few times, I can't remember which tournaments I played up there, but it is a beautiful place. It was funny when my husband and I went to Grand Haven for the first time, we looked at the weather, Grand Rapids, and took all the wrong clothes. Because you're right on the lake in Grand Haven.
Right.
It was freezing.
Right.
But it was a time of year where it was supposed to be cold. But it's beautiful up there. I look forward to always going up there to play American Dunes. But, like I said, I have friends that play golf that live up there and live down here in Florida in the wintertime. And they love it. And the pictures that they send us to show us Michigan, plus what we've seen, is just awesome.
Absolutely. No, it's great. And cool to hear you say that as well. I guess last one for you, just in addition to what we've talked about, scholarship application window opening right now, really, for the families of fallen or disabled military service members and first responders. You can go to www.foldsofhonor.org to apply. I would just leave you with this question, Nancy, just for someone maybe listening to this who has heard us talk to Colonel Dan before and maybe is familiar with American Dunes or Folds of Honor on some level, but what would you say to someone maybe listening right now just to learn a little bit more about Folds of Honor, and whether it's the website or just browse around and how they could learn a little bit more?
Absolutely. The application's open February 1st, this month, of course, and everyone should do some research, because when I was at my first board meeting, one of the recipients, she was there. She spoke about the day that they told her that her husband had passed. He was somewhere, I'm not sure exactly where he was, but of course he's in the military. And she talked about the feelings of, she had just had their third child 3 weeks prior to her finding out that her husband was deceased. And the story that she tells, because she lived the military life, and how this man was her best friend and her partner in life, and thought they're going to be together for the rest of their life, a long life, hopefully. And the feelings that she talked about when she lost her husband and they came and told her, and how alone she felt and how devastated she felt. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that feel that, who's going to help her take care of her children? And Folds, helps educate these children whose parent has given their life for our country. And, it's important. Folds is a wonderful organization. I know Colonel Dan wants to keep raising more money. Of course, not every applicant, we can't serve everyone. We're trying to raise enough money to serve as many people as we can. And it's just, they have served so many people. I have so many stats, and you probably have them too, but we just want to keep doing that, helping these people. And of course, first responders too is included now. So it's something I'm very proud to be a part of. And if we can help these people who have given the families, who have sacrificed a person in their life to help me be free and live in this country and be safe, that's so important. And I think everyone definitely needs to go on the website and check Folds out and just learn more about it.
Absolutely. Well, Nancy Lopez, appreciate you joining us. World Golf Hall of Famer. Great just to chat with you and talk some golf, but of course talk Folds of Honor and the great mission that you all do. So Nancy, really appreciate you coming on and joining us as our Metro Detroit Golfers series continues. And again, really thankful that you're able to join us here for a few minutes. Thanks.
Well, thanks, Mike. I hope I get to see you when I'm up there at American Dunes.
Absolutely. And make sure you pack a little different this time, right? The weather might, who knows, in Michigan. So.
I love the cool weather, but it just
Yeah.
surprised us. We were
of course.
Struggling with that. But one more thing, Mike, we're having an event.
Sure.
I can't remember let me see what month it is, but it's called the Intrepid, and it's honoring military women. It's for National Women's Vet Day. We're having an event there, and we're looking for sponsors too for that event. It's at American Dunes. So if anybody wants to go to that event or play in it for men and women to play in, I'd love to have you because we're going to be there and we're going to keep raising money.
Great. No, that's fantastic. And thanks for bringing that up. And I'm sure everyone listening right now can, of course, check that out as well. So appreciate it, Nancy. Thanks so much. And we'll look forward to talking soon.
All right. Thanks, Mike.